first time for us to meet, not physically, but yeah, it should be a great thing or great event for us at least to say hi. Yeah. So other thing as well, I'm happy. I'm so glad to have this opportunity to see all of you here on the screen, and talking about something that I think every industry, every company, even every country has put it as one of the most important strategic initiative in dealing with the era that we call the digital era, but sometimes it changes into digital disruptive era. Yeah. So everywhere I'm invited, the topics stays or remains the same. Yeah, showing that this is a very crucial, very essential and strategic thing to discuss. I understand I have about 1 hour, yeah, for our discussion, even though I prepare for more than the duration. Usually, because some of the slide that I use is the one that I use when I led the digital transformation team in Telkomsel when I was the director of HR there, and took me about 4 hours, yeah, because I belong to maybe one of the leaders who believe that if you like to make a big change, then you have to be present amongst your people. So your people, your employees can see your face, how confident you are. Even though in your heart you are not so confident, but in front of your people you have to be very confident. So your people will have a good feeling. Oh, okay, our leader is so confident, and we will follow him. So hopefully we can safely arrive with 60 minutes. Yeah, but let's see the situation. Okay, let me just share first the material that I prepared for all of you here. So if anyone have already can see it already? Sudah ya?
Yes,
It's shown up on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, this is the topic is as given to me as organizational changes and digital leadership transformation. Okay, thank you for the introduction. So it's just all the introduction that Dr. Hamdillah has already explained to all of you. Here is the Arithmetic graduation. Unfortunately, I couldn't go together to the graduation ceremony with Dr. Hamdillah, yeah, because of the situation. And here is just the other professional education background. Of course, because actually I'm the telco guy, so that's why when I joined to Telcom, most of the training I had was on the telecommunication. But later on, I tried to understand better about something new, which is the digital transformation. So I took the Scrum Master certification, yeah, even though I'm not young anymore. But I think it is something we have to do because the challenge is really how to relearn, unlearn, and relearn. Yeah, so it's interesting to always learn something new. Okay, I have 5 chapters. Yeah, 5 chapters to discuss the topic given to me. When I always apply a framework which I call 3 C's. Yeah. Stands for context, concept, and content. Actually, what I would like to say and explain is the content. In corporation, in a company, we call it programs. Some call it initiative. But if you jump into explaining the what, the content, which is the answer for what, concept is the answer for how, and context give an answer to why. So if you start jump and then starting talk about the program, the what, the content, everything can be irrelevant straight away because people whom you talk to and discuss don't understand why we need to talk about this topic in our case today. So I like always start to spend sometimes 50% of my time discussing the context, because if everyone understand why it is important, it's easy for me. It's easy for us to discuss the how and the what. Yeah, that's the leadership style I applied when I led the team in Telkomsel, in Telkom, and also in government, which is the Ministry of Tourism of Republic of Indonesia at the time. Okay, so the first chapter we'll talk about the context first. So this is the world the life that we are having at the moment, we are experiencing two big trends called the mega and meta trends. Yeah, this is the world we live today. We've got mega trend, we have meta trend. Meta trend, the keywords, there are three. We are now experiencing digitalization era. Wrong. The right one is accelerated digitalization. Before I became a director for Telco, I was vice president of corporate plan. Yeah, and I can still remember that I put in Telcom's strategic plan. The digitalization era will still be far away from that time. Yeah, but I was wrong. It happened sooner than I expected before. So the first keyword, if we are talking about mega trend, we are experiencing accelerated digitalization. Number two, why it happens? Because we experience something we didn't expect at all in our life, which is the COVID, which is the pandemic situation. That makes things go even faster because of the quick, wide, and deep adoption phenomenon. It happens in Indonesia in particular, but I believe also happens in Malaysia and in other parts of the world. Those two things, if they don't have any implication on business, management, or industry, I think we don't have to put in our slide here. But the thing is, it has a strong and a significant implication that makes the ecosystem, other word for industry, the business ecosystem, almost every ecosystem of the business now moving to the future. I just call it future forward ecosystem. That's the implication, number one. So every leader of organization, even of the country, has to understand these three trends, these three things that make that cause the mega trend to happen in every country. Number two is meta trend. Meta trend is characterized by three things. We turn now into what we call connected society. I and Hambrila can make decision because we are connected. When we are as individual connected, the organization get connected as well. Yeah, just like apa nama universitasnya, University Hambrila, Sarawak, couldn't remember the name. Yeah, so our organization get connected as well, and as the result, the world becomes a connected world. So let's see the implication step by step. Megatrend first. Megatrend, we've got three keywords, and because there is such a quick process of the digitalization happening in every country, then we can feel what we call the future mega trend now getting escalates. Yeah, I happened to take another executive course, Umbrella, but a few years ago in Melbourne University. Yeah, when I was a director of Telecom, because we would like to understand how to read the future. So I went to Frankston, if you still can remember that place, yeah, the campus of MBS there. Took me about a week to understand only for the future thinking. So they told me, the professor told me that there are four types of future called impossible, possible, plausible, and probable future. The probable future has got the green color. It has a meaning. That means something more likely to happen. Impossible future, something we don't expect to happen. But that's before the digitalization or the digital era happens. Now what we can see, what we believe as impossible future, now start to happen. At least we have Tesla. We have someone who has a dream before, not only a dream, now already start to sell the ticket to go to Mars, yeah, to live there. And now many organizations expect that the first colony of human will live there in March. In Mars. I think will happen sometime, maybe another 10 years from now. What I'm trying to say is there is a trend from impossible, possible, plausible to become probable. That's what we call the future mega trend escalate, indicating by the red arrow here at the right side of the slide. Yeah, that's what I call the accelerated process of digitalization. And there are three drivers. There are three accelerators cause this process to happen. One, of course, the digitalization itself. Number two is the pandemic situation that makes us relying on the digital application to continue our living in this world. And it is supported by the quick, wide, and deep customer or society adoption of digital technology. So when I moved from Telkom to Telkomsel, I had also an opportunity to take another executive course. My colleagues in BOD members, as usual, chose Harvard. Yeah, they went to America to learn many things about the strategic management. I didn't. I chose IMD in Switzerland, which is in Lausanne, because that institution has got a specific course focusing on the digital transformation. The IMD is, I think, one of the institutions who has the initiative to develop a model called digital Vortex. Yeah? In Indonesia, Vortex sometimes I translate into pusaran. Yeah, is Vortex. So it is a great, a big study, yeah? A collaborative study, and it was conducted with many organizations around the world. And finally, they make a summary or conclusion by drawing this vortex, showing that if there are 12, there are 12 industries observed, and those who are close to the center of the vortex are those who have the highest likelihood to experience the digital disruption. So as you can see here, the first vortex model resulted from that study, which is in 2016. It still looks like a vortex, right? So you can see the distance between the number 1 to number 12. Yeah. So the technology-based company, Telco, tend to get very close to the center, while pharmaceutical, tourism, number 7, are still far away from the center. Saying, I think for those industry takes a while to have to experience the digital disruption. Not anymore. In 2019, the study repeated, done again, and it still looks like a vortex. But you see, the relative distance to the center changes. Yeah, almost all industry moving to the center, and surprisingly, interestingly, in 2021, the shape of the vortex gone. Yeah, it becomes a spiral, showing that almost all industries have the same distance to the center of the vortex. That makes that IMD can make 3 big conclusions for our situation, our life in 2021. Number 1, of course, we still have what they call Hall of Fame, the 5 big industries that have been close to the center of the vortex, saying that the digital disruption happening in that industry are very strong. The media, retail, telecommunication, technology, product and service, and financial banking, yeah, one of them, are the industries that have to deal with digital disruptions quite strongly. But as we move to pandemic situation, we've got also big movers, yeah, as shown by this spiral in the latest vortex in 2021. Healthcare and pharmaceutical are not hard to understand because this industry has become a focus in each country, saying that to be able for you, for example, to deliver the vaccination program, you really have to have the digital application. So that's one of the explanation why healthcare and pharmaceutical become big movers. But there are for others like retail, education, our sector, umbrella, yeah, university, professional service, now become the big movers. They are moving very quickly to the center of the vortex, saying that digital disruption, intensity becomes very strong there as well. So as the conclusion, Yeah, if I'm running off my time, it's enough by saying digital disruption that we are now experiencing is not slowing down. Yeah. So this is very important for any leaders. Yeah. Every leader of the organization needs to understand the context, because there are two things, right? Context and content, as I said to you. Context sometimes, in many cases, is more important than content, because you can develop such a good and well planned, strategic plan for your company, but if don't if you don't understand the context, can become irrelevant very quickly. So this is one of the most important contexts I would like to share to you. But not enough yet. We need to understand further the implication of what I call the accelerated digital process or digitalization. It has a strong implication that makes almost every business ecosystem, wherever you go, has a phenomenon called future forward ecosystem. Every industry, every ecosystem are moving to their own future very quickly as well. Let's make some visit to some industries. Of course, virtual visit. Yeah. First, we go to healthcare. I believe also this happened not only in Indonesia, not only in Malaysia, but in every part of the world. If you're talking about the future of industry, of course, we have to talk about the 4.0 thing, right? The Industrial Revolution 4.0 that we have been discussing quite a while. And the 4.0 has a background, has a context coming from the manufacturing industry background. No, it's wrong. In healthcare, we've got also 4.0 here. So if you're talking about healthcare, we've got healthcare 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. Now we are now in the healthcare 4.0 era. Healthcare 1.0 is before we had a hospital to take care of patient. And the world moved to healthcare 2.0 when the hospital for the first time was founded, was built. And this industry continue move to healthcare 3.0, where IT technology is applied in hospital. Now, every doctor, every expert in this industry talking about healthcare 4.0, which is called as the era of smart medicine, featured by new brain and new hand. So the diagnosis now is conducted by applying or by using the data analytics, the big data, yeah, and many other related application. Performing an operation for a patient now using robot. So that's what they call new hands. What I would like to say is healthcare is a future forward business ecosystem. Okay, number two, retail. What about retail? Yeah, same thing. It's also has 4.0 thing in it. Retail has retail 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. Retail 1.0 is is the first time when we know the supermarket, yeah, the birth of modern supermarket. Retail 2.0, is when the hypermarket was founded. Everything available under one roof, and the premise is the price, it becomes lower. And had the Amazon, yeah, the company I work together now, and we've got Jeff Bezos, who always believed that commerce can be done through the internet. So he introduced the the e-commerce. That's what people know as the retail 3.0 era. Now we are in the retail 4.0 era, where people are talking about multi-channel or omni-channel retailing. Yeah, so we don't have to ask in Kuala Lumpur and Sarawak where the supermarket is. In your hand, not very far. Yeah, so the options are in your hand, not only physically but also digitally. So that's another proof to say that retail is also another future forward ecosystem. Energy. What about energy? Maybe some people will think, "Whoa, this is one of the oldest industry. There is no 4.0 such a thing." Yeah, no. If you're talking about energy, maybe before we only talk about the renewable. Yeah, the old discussion we have been always discussing. No, if you're talking about something further down in the value chain, now the industry, the energy industry expert have already discussing a new concept called the smart grid, yeah, the smart grid. So whatever the place consuming energy, it can be university, office, whatever, for by applying this concept, they are all the same. They call smart grid, where all the consumption of energy can be controlled, can be monitored, can be supplied by applying Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning. In other words, technology, digital technology are become very important in the sector. That makes this industry also moving to the future, yeah, to become the energy 4.0. Telco, I don't want to talk about that because I have been experiencing this firstly, yeah, when I was appointed as the Telkomsel director. I had already known that SMS and the conventional connectivity has been already disrupted. Yeah, so the telco has moved firstly to its future. Yeah, now we are in the era of moving to the 5G. Yeah, so we've got many leaps. Yeah, showing the telco also another strong future forward ecosystem. Bank, easy to talk about bank. Even there is a book already written by Brad King talking about Bank 4.0, endorsed or enabled by a new technology called the crypto, the blockchain. Yeah, so now bank can be done by everyone on their hand because it has a concept of open network and very simple for everyone to use it. Doesn't follow the same logic as we know before as the conventional bank operates. Yeah, so that's called Bank 4.0. Again, bank is also another future for our ecosystem. So a lot of articles in Indonesia discussing about 4.0, and this is the market landscape that in Indonesian, bank or payment ecosystem is filled by so many companies already. Yeah, and a lot of them we don't know yet before. So what I like to say is this is a very progressive future for our ecosystem in bank sector. So conclusion, summary of chapter number 1 is willingly or unwillingly, like it or not, as leaders, as researchers, yeah, as experts, as professional, I think we have to accept the reality that we are living in a digital era where every ecosystem is moving to the future. And as a summary, there are 3 pillars. There are 3 main characteristics, yeah, explaining what is the future for our ecosystem. Number 1, every industry becomes very dynamic. And if it goes so dynamic, it can become very disruptive. And interestingly, as the one of the most significant, I think, implication, the industry can change into a new ecosystem. Can you imagine before the telco become bank? No, you can't. Telco is telco, bank is a bank, right? But now telco can move to bank by offering the digital payment application there. So this is very important, right? So if you're talking about a conventional way of thinking, maybe it's easy to differentiate, yeah, one industry to another industry. Now, not so easy because we have a blurring industry borders that can make a new or an old business ecosystem become a new one. Yeah, that's summary of megatrend. Now move to the metatrend. Metatrend, as I said to you, the world becomes connected. When everyone get connected, easy to talk, easy to say hi, easy to say assalamualaikum, waalaikumsalam. Hey, alhamdulillah, what did you cook in the morning? Sometimes I ask alhamdulillah, oh, I cook as usual curry, yeah, in Malaysia, yeah, nasi goreng in Indonesia. So we become a connected society, and because we are so easy to get connected, there is a higher opportunity for us to collaborate. And you know what is the proof? Is today's session, yeah, starting from our informal text chatting, yeah, alhamdulillah, now become a very serious session we are having now at the moment. So what's the implication for industry? This one, yeah, there is a lot of innovations, yeah, happening, and it was made by having collaboration. I call it cross industry innovation. So interesting now that hotel to improve their service. They don't learn from other bigger and better service hotel. They learn from a car service company, because by learning from different industry who have much better knowledge about how to have a good a business process to check everything that have to check, that this industry can produce such a great innovation. So what we can see now, the every industry can learn from other industry, and it is now at now become reality. BMW now learn from game industry, from what do you call this for doing the game? My son played this actually. The what is this device called? The left hand side. To play the game. So that the logic is adopted by the apa namanya? Can remember.
PlayStation.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is another evidence how the cross industry innovation happen. Yeah, and it happened in many industry. If I have more time, I can give you more examples. But to make it short, I just would like to jump into this conclusion that if we are talking about Metatrend, this has become a very serious talk and discussion, and it was already taken into World Economic Forum discussion. Yeah, because when I was in government, we always send our officers to join with the discussion there in WF, in World Economic Forum. And one of the working group is talking about new thing to grow economy, which is a new strategy called the collaborative corporate startup strategy, because the business world now is divided. Some people look at with two perspectives. There are two sides, right? Corporate management, which is the established and market leader companies, and the startup who tend to disrupt everything. Before, this picture is not like this. The picture is just the red and the blue, just like people who like to start to fight, But now they just like shaking hand like this, showing that there is a new trend in business, that there is a new strategy called collaborative corporate startup strategy. That's the implication of Metatrend. Finish chapter number 1. Chapter number 2, we have to talk about things that, like, we like it or not, we need to accept that it will happen sooner or later. Now become sooner, which is the disruption. When as we have the mega trend, where all the industry move to the future. When we are talking about Metatrend, where the cross-industry innovation happen, then it will lead to a new thing called disruption. What is disruption? Disruption can be simply explained by saying before the digital era happened, this color, there are only two, blue and another blue, the bright blue, There is no green before, showing that in those 12 industries, there are 12, right? From healthcare, we've got healthcare here, oil and gas, telecom and media. Before, the revenue size shared between the incumbents only. Now, no longer. Take an example, telecom industry here. See, even the blue color is smaller, is shorter than the green one, because new guys coming in, which is the startup. This one of the easy way to explain disruption. There in almost every industry, as we see here on the slide, have been disrupted. So is a strong evidence showing that disruption really happens. How many minutes I have so far, Alhamdulillah? Another 5? 10?
All of us are very, very keen to listen to you. Don't rush yourself.
Don't give, what do you
Let's
call
have your time.
for singing, the microphone, right? two people, one singer, two lecturer. They tend to forget the time, So remind me. So even when you give the microphone, one to the singer, they will keep singing, yeah.
Please take
If
your
you
time,
take
doctor.
example like me, they tend to forget the time. Sorry.
No worry, doctor. Doctor Priyantono, the session is very good. Please, I mean,
Baik, baik,
if
siap.
you do have the time, we are here to
Okay, sure.
listen.
Of course. Okay, now we are moving to a more advanced discussion. Talking disruption, normal. We've been discussing too often. Talking about mega and meta trends are not difficult to understand and to do. But the most serious one is, what is the real implication to every country economy? Which is, and the biggest and the most serious implication, yeah, that has to be understood not only by business but also by the government and also by universities, is born of strategic digital gap. What I mean by the strategic digital gap? That's the gap. It's a delta between the red curve and the black curve here. The vertical dimension is showing or indicates the value growth, the value of the company. And here I cut the time, the horizontal one is the time. And I took the facts, the data, yeah, in 2022 and 2021 here. So if you can see here, there is a gap, a big gap between the red and the black. The red is the value growth experienced by a company, organization, a country, a university, whatever you name it, by applying what I call exponential way of doing business. And increment, the black one at the bottom is a value growth experienced or produced by organization, country, university, whatever you name it, that applies incremental way of thinking, incremental way of doing the business. Incremental way of thinking is a way of doing the business that has resulted in many market leaders who are in it. Telkomsel, Petronas, maybe in Malaysia, who have been market leaders. They applied that approach. Who believe that tomorrow or the future is just a repetition from yesterday, situation added by the growth you would like to make as directed, as told by your CEO. Yeah, so it can be easily understood by looking at the way we develop investment. You go to any company and ask them to show you capital expenditure plan, capex plan. Yeah, I can be sure that the max maybe 10%. What I'm trying to say is systematically grow lah, step by step. Don't go exponentially. And interestingly, Hambrila, we both are lecturers. We teach business, yeah, in university by applying this way of thinking. Because this, everything has to be systematic. The strategy has to follow the three level: the corporate level strategy, the business level strategy, the functional level strategy. Yeah? The strategy formulation has to start by applying the strategic situation analysis and so on and so on and so on. Yeah. And because this way of thinking have resulted in so many successful companies who become market leaders, we call it best practice. So the black color at the bottom, around the world we call it best practice. If we are talking about telco, there is a best practice. When we talk best practice, there is no other way of doing the business. Okay, there's only one. We try to learn, we try to teach that in university. Is there any other way of doing the business? There was before, but we don't care. Why? Because it's not proven. Because it didn't follow the logic. But when we move to a digital era, the different way of doing the business proven. Even they grew up, they grew more significantly like this. So there is a gap here born, what I call born. So the difference between the value of the exponential and incremental way, and the exponential based way of thinking of the companies is driven. It started, came from the the startup world, yeah, and endorsed and you implemented digital technology. So I gave you some proof. Only 5 industries I had here. I took it from Indonesian case, yeah, telecommunication, tourism, transportation, digital payment, and education. Even education, not red but blue, showing not only value but also number of students. Yeah. So here telecommunication we have 15 times. So if you compare the conventional telecommunication company, just like Telco, for example, you compare with the red one, which is we call the OTT, over the top company, the gap, is 15 times the gap of the value. Pariwisata or tourism, tourism 12 times. If you compare between travel agent and online travel agent, we have such a big gap or such a big delta. That means that those who apply technology, digital technology, and the new business model, that is the business model, by applying the exponential of thinking, will have much higher value. Yeah. So if you are really interested to know more about this phenomenon, this discussion led to a new thing in some universities have already been put into a specific course, which is digital economy or digital transformation course. We have to understand 7 laws, which I will not explain at this moment because it will take another maybe 1 semester, those 7 digital economy laws, as I wrote here. We need to understand why it happened, because we have to understand the Metcalfe's law, saying that the value is the function of the number of subscribers of the users who use your service. So if the more users, the more subscribers, or MAU in this today term, monthly active users, then your value will go very quickly here. So that's why the red one goes even faster and more significant, and experience much higher growth as far as the value is concerned. Number 2, more slow. Number 3, you need to understand how the faster adoption rate, that has an impact on shorter product life cycle. You need also to talk about Medici effect. Medici effect is a very famous discussion many years ago, explaining very well about the phenomenon, the cross-industry innovation, soft touch economy instead of high touch economy, and the compound, the integration of those laws who really, significantly can explain why the gap can happen, which is the compound. The compound effect of disruptive technology. That is, I don't want to explain this, but simply by looking at this simulation, the more users you can have, and the more often that users use your products, and the higher the value that you can have because of the Metcalfe's effect, Metcalfe's effect, one of them. Okay, and here is our discussion. I think the last digital economic law is relevant to our discussion today. Here is the real challenge, actually, that every CEO has to deal. It's called Vortex law. See here, the digital technology will lead a company who applies it to grow exponentially. But how organization respond cannot go to the same direction with the same speed. So that's why there is a gap. So if you are a big company, incumbent company, who have been market leaders, you would like to experience the same growth. You will have to accept this reality. It's not easy to go to the same direction at the same speed as the new company born in startup world. That's what we understand with the Vortex law. Technology changes at an exponential rate. Organizations change at a logarithmic rate. And the expert is here. Dr. Hambrila is the expert. Yeah? How to make your organization also can go exponentially. Yeah? So you are lucky. Yeah? Yeah, you are in the class and you deliver or led or coordinated by Dr. Hambrila, because it's very relevant. Yeah, discussion. That thing. What I found when I led the digital transformation team, both in industry, in telco, and also in government, it's very hard, to follow the exponential growth if you are the incumbent organization. Here is just proof. Here is just data that I got from Indonesian case. Yeah, this is the bank. How hard it is for incumbent to experience the same thing as digital. Yeah. See here, this is data I got from Bank Indonesia, Central Bank of Indonesia. Yeah, the left one is show the transaction. The right one is the value. Comparing the blue, the red, and the green. The blue is ATM product, and red is credit card, and green is for digital. See, yes, if you're talking about the value, the amount of money, yeah, of course, the red and the blue, the kartu credit and the ATM is still high, much higher than the green one. But look at the growth. No one use anymore here in Indonesia. I believe, I'm afraid, kartu credit or credit card, flat. See, the ATM also not growing very significantly. But look at here, the green one. Yeah, so showing that the gap happens. Yeah. Okay, I have a lot of proof like this, but because of the time I couldn't show it to you from those industry. Just move to the conclusion, to the summary. Why it happens? Yeah, why that the gap happen? Actually, I had something from my explanation. I put it later on, which is the third curve here, the blue one. Yeah, this is the reason. This is the explanation why the gap happens, and that the one in the middle here, the blue, is the customer adoption. Yeah, trend.
Doctor,
Yeah.
can you
Sure.
can you explain further about the education 4,000 time? What is
Yeah.
the,
Oh
the
yeah.
reason?
Thank you very much. The blue one, yeah. Okay. When we are talking education, we don't only talk about value gap, but we talk also about number of students. If we compare between conventional university with new university called microcredit, yeah, the Coursera things, the nano degree university. If you compare between the university I'm teaching at the moment, which is ITB, Institut Teknologi Bandung, it's got about maybe 40,000 students. But if you're talking about Coursera, EDX, 42 Silicon Valley, Udacity, they've got millions. That's the speech I give to the rector, to the vice chancellor, when I was invited to have something like this many months ago. That university have to be very careful as well, because the initiative of the education initiative tend to come from the industry, because they want to answer the old challenge, the unmatched between the university, the academic things with the industry. So now almost every subject, you can name it, marketing, whatever, finance, you can learn very quickly, less than 2 months, and some of them are free, particularly if the one focus on such coding, digital analytics, they're free. And before you study, you are already accepted to work where? In Google, in LinkedIn, in Microsoft, in AWS. That's the thing. Hope it answer. Yeah. So the gap in education, not only red but also blue. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. That's the reality. The evidence showing what I mean by the strategic digital gap. Then the third curve here. Sorry, I move again here. Yeah, is the reason why it happened, which is the adoption. The adoption gets very quickly to happen, particularly as we move to the pandemic situation. And Indonesia, and I also believe it happens also in Malaysia, yeah, it is characterized by three things. The adoption made by society. Someone would like to ask something? Sorry. Oh, okay. Sorry. It gets by three things. It happens quick, wide, and deep. Quick, very quick. Every good digital application will be adopted very quickly in Indonesia. At what? It happens from Jakarta at the first time, for example, then next day it will all be adopted in other areas, in province, in kampung-kampung as well. And deep, it goes to the lowest segment of the social economic pyramid. Yeah. So this shown by the data I got recently from UOB in Singapore. Yeah. See, in ASEAN country, it happens very quickly, particularly in Indonesia, but also happen in Malaysia as well. I think if you are talking about GMV, yeah, gross merchandise value, for example, for internet economy. Yeah. So actually, Malaysia is quite also high here. If you are talking about the blue one here in 2025, the projection will be very significant growing up in Malaysia as well, showing that there is a rapid rising digital adoption happening in almost every country in ASEAN. But Indonesia has the most significant one. So it has become our strategic context that we try to understand and to anticipate. Finish. Number three, the last one. I think if I'm running out of my time, I still have another two chapters here, but let's see the time. So chapter one, chapter two, talking about the symptom, the problems, the challenges, yeah, the threat maybe so for some industry, but also opportunities. Just take the one side only. For incumbents, for all organization, for the old market leaders in the industry, maybe the digital disruption can be seen as threat or challenges. It's not fair for me talking about the threats only, not talking about the solution, about the cure. Yeah. So starting from 2015, yeah, when I start to learn a digital transformation thing in Switzerland, I can see, because I joined to that course because that course can only be attended by C-level, yeah, by executive only, a CEO and board of BOD members. And so I had the opportunity to ask every one of them. We've got GE there, one of the director there, joined to the course. We've got some big telco, European telco companies as well, attended the course. So I asked to calibrate whether or not they also experience the same thing as I also experienced in Telkomsel, which is the digital disruption. And they say, yes, we are all here in Europe are also experiencing digital disruption phenomenon. So I asked them the second question, yeah, how do you cope with that? Yeah. So all have the same, gave me the same answer. They said to me, okay, Pak Pri, you just need to find a cure for that. Yeah. And we found the cure already. And the cure is called digital transformation. There's no other way. If you are incumbent, if you are a market leader, really you have to think seriously to do or to perform transformation called digital transformation. What is digital transformation? There are three things we have to understand firstly before we are discussing further about digital transformation. There are three things. Sometimes we get mixed up. Yeah, there is digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation. Digitization is not digital transformation. Yeah, it's part of it. Digitization has been happening since 1960s, which is the conversion of analog signal, analog information to digital. Digitalization, sometimes we believe, we understand as digital transformation, is not automatically means digital transformation. Digitalization is really, it's an adaptation of business process. Now, before a manual become digital, but is it a digital transformation? Can be yes or no. Why? When it can be said as the digital transformation when you are adapting your business process is when you have an intention to create, to produce, to innovate, to deliver new things in your business portfolio, in your products. So digital transformation is talking about creation, new business, new deliveries, new services for your customers to stay relevant in the future. So if you're talking about creating new thing, then we really have to talk about value, because at the end of the day, what you expect is the adoption. Yeah, if you producing something, you are innovating something and not adopted, no point. So to be able for you to assure that your customer adopt, then we have now to talk about a new kind of innovation called value oriented disruptive innovation. Remember the third curve, the blue, and in the graph that I show you when I explain about the gap, the adoption actually happen because there is a value offered to the customers, and that value cannot be rejected because it offers such significant benefits to the customers. So I'm at the moment still giving lectures, yeah, giving executive training to CEO and BOD members in many big companies, particularly in SOE, BUMN, yeah, in state-owned enterprise in Indonesia. I asked them, Pak, Bu, do you understand disruption? Yes, we do, Pak Pri. Do you know why it happens? Some can give good explanation, but when I go further with why, it really happens. You said that there is an adoption. Okay, I understand. I agree with you. There is adoption made by our customers to the new products. But why our customer suddenly switch into new things, to new product offered by digital company? They couldn't answer. Very, very dangerous, So that's why I like to share that there must be a value offered to your society, to your customers, that make them to make an adoption. There are three forms of what I call disruptive values that make our society, that makes our customers cannot say no, but accept it. Number one is cost value. Number two, experience value. Number three is platform value. Cost value is something that makes your product becomes very low as far as the price. When it comes very low, some can be at least perceivably even free, just like WhatsApp. Your customer cannot say no, but accept it. Just like myself, I had SMS. I invest in SMS infrastructure. But are you still using it? You don't. Why? Because there is WhatsApp, there is Telegram, and many other things offer cost value, such a low. Yeah, even though you still have to pay the connection, but you still believe that it's much cheaper. So cost value is one of the disruptive value we have to create when you innovate. Remember, digital transformation is creating business to make your organization stay relevant in the future, to deal with the phenomenon I explained earlier, future forward ecosystem. So the best way to deal with the future forward ecosystem challenge is really to make your organization future ready by applying, by producing, by innovating, using the value-based innovation. Number two, experience. Experience value is a value offering something new. And it can be easily understood by looking at the way they deliver the value. They change the logic. Before, you have to key. Yeah, you have to make a line to Telcom shop in Malaysia. You don't have to come physically anymore now. You can do it online. Before, you have to pay fixed fee to use one particular service. Even now, it's free. Before, you have to do many things for registration. Now, as easy as click, and it's done. So all kind of thing is changes. Just like insurance, for example. If you talk about insurance industry, one of the oldest industry in the world, right? You have to pay the fixed amount to cover your benefit. But whether or not you use it, doesn't matter. You have still to pay. Oh, I want to pay the insurance for my car, but I never use my car. According to my daughter, I always go everywhere with my dad's car. Yeah, can I pay insurance fee based on the distance I made with my car? Oh, cannot. That's the old way of been many years, yeah, for having the insurance benefit. Now you can. You just pay depending upon the distance you make with your car by simply connecting your iPhone to your car, matters, yeah, in your car. So the experience value. Number three is platform value. You have to use it because everyone uses it. I trust every one of you here are using Google as a search engine. You are using WhatsApp. you're using, video online like this. Well, if you choose to not to use it, then you are no longer belong to the society. So these three values are the values made the product become disruptive and adopted. And there is one basic principle. Ini alhamdulillah, it relates to culture. Since the people, the young people, I should call young people because those who work in startup, very young, millennials, right? They understand that as early as having the first idea to develop a new disruptive product, they put the customer as a referee. You know, referee wasit, yeah. You fight the wasit, you are gone. You play soccer, yeah, and you fight with the referee, kartu merah, red card, right? Yeah. So that's the philosophy. That explains why big company is so hard, to follow the way the exponential company operates, because there is a barrier, there is a silo, there is a such a rigid wall, yeah, to apply that principle. We've been so long believe that if we have such a great technology advancement, then our society will need it. No, if it's not needed, there is no adoption. So this is such a big and great changes as far as the culture, as far as the organization changes. You have to make your all level management layers applying these principles. Whatever needed by your customer is the truth. Can you do it? Not easy. Not easy. Because if you can do it, it will affect the way you do the business, the way you do the business word that I just said, called business model. There are 15 disruptive business 15 disruptive business models based on those three values that actually disrupt the world. Finish. Yeah, I still have some, but I think I would like to open discussion first. Alhamdulillah. I think I talked too much already. I still have 2 chapters if I'm lucky to have more time to discuss. I'm free actually still, but if you have something to do, then I have to give an opportunity to Alhamdulillah to manage the time.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Pri. That is really stick my eyes to the screen. How about the rest?
Very good, very good.
Thank
Tanya.
you.
Doctor.
Okay, maybe we can open to the floor for discussion.
Sure.
Yes, as requested by our speaker, maybe it is more interesting if we can have a discussion based on the presentation, the half presentation that we have currently. And I would say personally myself, I feel like I become young again, Pak Pri. 15 years or 15 years ago when we first meeting in Melbourne. Okay, meeting old friend makes us remember the old memories.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, Doctor.
So
Yes,
far,
please.
Tuan Haji, any question?
Yeah. Tanya, Dr. Amrila, to bring up sharing a good speaker to us. I got 2 questions, but the first one I need to answer. But second question is, of course, spare the time to my friends here. As a leader in any organization, what is the biggest challenges by the Indonesian organization in terms of shifting capital city from Jakarta to Kalimantan? Then the second one, I think this one is just a reserve question. How to develop or to make edu-tourism success methods in Indonesia? So the first question I need to answer. Second question maybe spare for my friends because we have limited time. Thank you very much.
How should I address your name? Pak
Mazlan, yeah, Mazlan. Yeah.
Pak Mazlan, yeah, thank you. Terima kasih Pak Mazlan for the question. Yeah, I'd like to know you one day, yeah, physically. Salam silaturahim for the time being from Indonesia. There are 2 questions, yeah, Pak Mazlan. One regarding the plan to move the capital city of Jakarta to Kalimantan. Wow, that's interesting but very hard answer, yeah, for that initiative. So I prefer to answer the first question first, right? Which is, can you repeat again, Pak? Yang pertama, the first one, how?
As a leader in any organization in Indonesia, the challenges, the biggest challenges by the Indonesian organization when the shifting of the capital city, because Jakarta is already all this while, and then suddenly change to Kalimantan, a new place, a new area. So of course there will be a challenge, a big challenge to the owner Indonesian organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, number two. So number two first, Pak. Number two
Nombor
question.
dua tu actually how to develop in edu tourism. Edu tourism, yeah.
Sure, Pak. Okay, number two first, right? Because I just left that industry, yeah, and that's interesting. That's why I believe that our life goes to a direction sometimes as we expected, but in more cases went to a different direction. I never had a dream to have a career in tourism, yeah. So we have to trust there is just a strong power, yeah, directed our life. It comes from God, of course, from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. We have to believe it. So I never had a dream, yeah, to have a job, to have a position in tourism. So I started to learn about tourism. Anyway, when I was there, I had I and my boss, which is the Minister of Tourism at the time, I was given such a challenging target to reach to have 20 million, as Dr. Hamdullah said, yeah, of foreign tourism coming to Indonesia. What was the meaning of 20 million? So I have to not only to double, to make it triple, I think. Yeah, because when I started my job, the number of foreign tourism coming to Indonesia is about maybe 8 or 7 million. So if you want to make it 20, then you have to grow 30%. And you know, what is the international growth of global tourism? What's the growth for global tourism? Only 10%. So I have to triple the growth of the tourism industry in Indonesia. So 3 times faster. Then the way we do it, we applied, of course, a strategy. Yeah, the strategy. There are two things, actually, two assets. We call it, one is the spirit. We call it the great spirit. Yeah, the great spirit is something we have to build. We have to, develop as the awareness owned by our society that tourism is one of the sector important for the Indonesian economy. Yeah? It's the fastest and the cheapest way, to make the visa, to make the foreign income. And number two, the strategy. So the strategy hopefully can answer your question. Edu tourism, yeah, one of the tourism. If you're talking about tourism, we need to, first of all, we have to talk about how to transform Indonesian tourism industry to operate based on global practices. Because we have to fight global growth, right? So that's the first thing I have to do. So I changed all the standard of the tourism initiative, yeah, logic into to follow the global standard. One of them is the 3A. So I learned from UNWTO, United Nations World Tourism Organization. I and my colleagues also got involved in WEF, World Economic Forum Working Group, focusing on tourism, and we found the 3A formulation as the strategy. If we want to develop a place in tourism, a place visited by tourists called destination. So destination is a term, including edu tourism as well. If you would like to develop edu tourism, you have to see it from the perspective of making it as the destination. And how to make one place to become destination? You have to have three things, three pillars, three A's. One is the access. The first A is access. How to go there, how to access, how to have it. Yeah. If you're talking about physical destination, that means you have to build bridge. You have to build airport. You have to build toll roads. You have to build port. You have to build many infrastructure. That's first thing. But number two, number two is attraction. Attraction is a reason for Dr. Hamdullah to come to Bandung. If Bandung doesn't offer anything as attraction, Dr. Hamdullah will not come to Bandung. So edutourism has to have that, Pak Maslan. Now, we have to need to have a good and serious talk about what we would like to develop as the attraction for edutourism. The answer, back to you, Pak. Back to you. In Indonesia, we define with three things, ya. Alam itu apa? Keindahan alam, the nature, ya, culture, and man-made. Bandung shopping ya, Pak. Shopping. Bandung shopping, betul. And last one, Pak, the last A is amenity. Bahasa Indonesia amenitas. Amenity is hotel, kuliner, toilet, Pak. So that's kind of thing we have to develop. So if we can manage and develop those 3A things, I think we have a better confidence, including the edutourism to be developed quickly and can have a good competitive advantage in the global competition. Begitu Pak Masdan.
Yeah, very good one.
Thank you.
I think certain organizations about the edutourism is access, yes, amenities, yes, but I think the problem is on attraction. That is the most challenges.
That's right.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Pak. Thank you. Okay, thank you for Bandung. So, Pak, siapa tadi? You've been to Bandung before, ya? The culinary, the food, the shopping. All right. Okay, Alhamdulillah, it's 11:17. So we still have time. Or I'm flexible. I offer the time.
Yeah.
Just follow your plan.
Yeah, we are quite free, Doctor. Hopefully the Dr. Priyantono also free lah.
Sure. If I can still have another maybe 15 to 20.
Yes.
Can I finish my materials?
Okay.
Okay, ya? Boleh ya?
Boleh, Doctor.
Okay, boleh. Okay. If anyone would like to ask a question, just interrupt me, yeah? Because I tend to forget quickly. If I put all the question and I wrote in my book, I forget to answer. Yeah, so just interrupt me. Okay, so I have only 2 chapters left, right, to complete my sharing today. So I better start by sharing again. Hang on, I have to organize the page first. Hang on. Okay, chapter number 4. So chapter number 4 is.
Sorry, Doctor. I thought you finished already. Very, very sorry.
Tak apa, Pak. Tak apa. I'm afraid I'm taking your time too much, Pak. So that's why I stop. Sorry. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah. Chapter number 4. Yeah. I talked already the digital transformation as at least believe as one of the most effective strategic response to deal with disruption. Okay. Now we really have to talk about what is really the digital transformation. Yeah. Then to explain it, I would like to relate that discussion to the digital leadership development and how we can manage the change management job. Okay. First thing first is this slide. Simply remember the gap that I show you the slide. Yeah. If you are in a black color curve saying that you are market leader, is incumbent, even in a government institution, if you want to stay relevant in the future, you have to do digital transformation. Simply, digital transformation is to make your organization grow exponentially as well. Yeah. So remember the last digital economy law, yeah, saying that organization cannot goes as at the same speed as the technology advancement, which grows exponentially. That's the real challenge. If you want to make your organization grows as well exponentially, yeah. So the only way for an old incumbent market leader organization to also grow exponentially is really you have to move from the old house to the new house. Yeah, the move, sometimes called the shift. In a more complete terms, strategic shift. You have to move from the old house called best practice. You are here. Who is the best telco? You can name it. There's some names here. We know very well. Sometimes we use as our case studies here. But if you really want to deal with the digital era challenges, one of them is disruption, and to make your organization to grow so exponentially, unfortunately, sometimes you have to forget about your best practice. Because what you believe is relevant as best practice today doesn't guarantee still will be relevant for the future. In most cases, in all cases, I can say, you have sometimes to leave your best practice approach today to move to the new house called new practices with no best. Gak ada base-nya. No best. Why? Because in digital era, there is always a better way of doing the business. That's the VUCA, the dynamics, the volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguity term, saying that there is always changes dynamically happening all the time. So what we have to do as the leader, as as a director and a leader in organization, you have to be able to lead big changes, because you have to move from your old house you believe as the best way to do the business to the new one, new practices. And to do it, you cannot move straight away. You have to go down the hill, the valley, the valley called self-disruption. Itu yang susah. So can you imagine, I led 3 teams: Telkomsel, government, and at the moment I'm still doing it for media company, because in April next year there will be ASO. I think already happened in Malaysia, analog switch off for TV. There will be no analog TV. We'll move to digital altogether. And I led the digital transformation. When we are talking moving to the new practices, next practice without best in it, without best term in it, then you have to do the self-disruption. Can I ask you something, Hamrila? Are you wearing watch? Hand watch? Yeah. Left hand side. You always put it in the left hand side, in your left hand, right? Can I ask you something?
Left-handed.
Oh, okay. You will pray Zuhur soon, yeah? When you do the wudu, the ablution, and after you finish the wudu and pray, please move your watch to right hand. Okay. And how long it will last?
Okay. Interesting.
Only a few hours.
We'll try.
Even less.
Interesting. We'll try.
Yeah. Showing is not easy to do the change, right?
Doktor, Pak Priyantono, Pak Pri.
Yep.
Maaf kata menyampuk. Alright.
Baik.
To your point, okay. So when you're talking about change management, and
Yes.
then to your point also, when we are talking about certain organization which have multi-generational workforce, and then to your point also that some organization, or even some what you call a lot of organization, the big one especially, is actually what we consider as dinosaur, especially the government agencies. All right, so how can we what you call change? How can we approach the changes in this particular type of dinosaur or multi-generational workforce? So that one is a very big challenge. So do you have any thoughts on that particular multi-generational and dinosaur type of organization?
Thank you. Pak Awang Habib, ya?
Yeah, Pak.
Yeah, thank you, Pak. So I have option, Pak, to answer your question. 2 options at least. I can answer using theoretical concept, but I can also choose the second option, answering your question based on my experience. So I prefer to use the second option based on my experience, leading and coordinating, the digital transformation team, including in government, as you said, multi-generation company, not easy, very rigid, just like an elephant. I still remember, just Your question reminds me to a very popular book called "How to Teach an Elephant to Dance." There is, yeah, there's an old book, yeah, entitled "How to Teach an Elephant to Dance." The answer is yes, we can teach the elephant to dance. That's the answer. Okay, there are three stages, but there are three things we have to do to manage such a, strong, yeah, change management program, and you are the leader there, yeah, based on the experience. And at the time when that's my speech to my employees, because I have 15,000 employees in telecom. I have 5,700, yeah, employees in Telkomsel, and I don't know how many in government, too many, yeah. So I have to make a belief, a trust, yeah, to assure that all employees, including the government employees, will follow, yeah, will support my program to do the change management in terms of doing digital transformation. So I did three things, but yeah. What I'm trying to say with three things, with three stages, the biggest point is we better not to jump to the last stage. Otherwise, we will be broken, yeah, patah. Because before you go to the last stage, we really have to be keen in doing the first two stages. What are the two first stages? One, very important. Before we have an initiative to do big change management, any change, yeah, we have firstly to develop the sense of urgency. Because people will behave, will act, will do things they believe they see as urgent. How many times in our life, on intention, we didn't go to toilet? Never, never. It doesn't matter how busy we are. When the need comes to us, we always have time to go to toilet. Why? Because it's urgent. Same thing, but if you don't have any urgency develop strongly for organization, people will not change. Just like Dr. Hambrila, if I ask her to move her watch to the right hand, yeah, there is no urgency, she won't do that. But if there is an urgency, she will do that. That's number one. The question is how to develop urgency. It's an art of leadership. You have also options. At least we have 2 or 3 options. One, giving them threat. Menakut-nakuti itu bahasa Malaysia bukan? Give them threat. Hey, if you don't change, your company gone. Tomorrow you have to sell culiner in the street because you no longer have a job. That's one option. Many leaders chose to give a pressure in a form of giving a threat, future threat, potential threat that our company can bankrupt. If you feel your organization has that kind of situation that it is relevant for you to give, itulah ya, apa namanya, threat tadi, you can do it. But I didn't do it because at the time I assessed, I evaluated my employees don't like. Yeah, it's not something popular. And so we are talking about other option. What other option? I give knowledge. I give vision. The speech, the sharing I'm doing at the moment is exactly the same thing I do in 4 areas in Telkomsel. You know how big Indonesia, right? So I have 4 areas, regional areas, regional offices. 1, 2, 3, 4. One for Sumatera, area 2 Jakarta and Bandung, area 3 Semarang to Nusa Tenggara to Bali, and area 4 is in Eastern in Indonesia, Indonesia bagian timur, ya. So I came physically, but because I believe, as I told you before, to develop urgency, we have to be physically in the middle of our employees. So employees can ask anything, can challenge, but can at the same time also see my face, how confident I am about my vision doing the change management. So I give them this presentation. So if we can transform, we can have better growth, we can still exist, can have a good growth. So I chose that one, Pak. But what I'm trying to say is really the first job, big job for leader to lead change management is to develop sense of urgency. If that urgency has not been yet developed, then do it and do it and do it again. Then if you see that when your people are ready, because they see the strong urgency, you can move to stage number 2. Stage number 2 is not going to the system. Is not drive your organization by system. Not yet. That's the last stage. Yeah. The second stage is you really firstly create what we call quick wins, the low hanging fruit. We need to create programs that are easy to achieve. I give you an example. We given a speech to our people that there are 3 mountains in Malaysia, in Sarawak. Mountain A, Mountain B, Mountain C. Gunung ya, sama ya kata-katanya. Gunung A, Gunung B, dan Gunung C. You talk first, hey, my people, my employees, let's go to Mountain A. Why? Because there is, apa bahasa Inggrisnya perunggu? Perunggu, perak tuh apa? Gold, silver, what's the other one?
Bronze.
Gangsa, bronze. Gangsa.
Yeah, bronze. Okay, bronze. There's a bronze there in Mountain A. Okay, if you go there together, if you believe me, if you trust me, we go together tomorrow morning to Mountain A. We can find bronze, and then we can sell it. And then before in the morning comes, I ask Hambrila, please put bronze there in Gunung A, in Mountain A, but make sure no one sees you. Okay, tomorrow morning we go together with our people to Mountain A. Can we find bronze? Of course we can, because Hambrila put it, and no one knows it, right? So when we arrive with our people to reach to Mountain A and we find the bronze, what will happen to our credibility? What will happen to our, image as the leader? Then our people start to believe, oh, Pak Pri, his presentation proven. At least some people will start to believe us, Pak. Not enough yet. The next day, you will give another speech. Let's now move to mountain number B. There is silver there, and silver is more expensive. We can make more money. And I asked Dr. Hambrila again, Dr. Hambrila, please, before you do the tahajud, you go to mountain B and put the silver there and make sure no one sees you, okay? And tomorrow morning, the same thing we do together with our people. And what will happen to us as the leader? The confidence, it even gets bigger given to us. Oh, Pak Pri, great leader, yeah. The speech, the presentation, proven. Of course, proven, because Dr. Hambrila put the silver there. And lastly, Pak, the next day again, you give another speech. Now we move to, after we reach mountain A and B, tomorrow morning, let's continue our journey. We move to mountain C. And I do not ask Dr. Hambrila to put gold to mountain C. While in my speech, I said, because there is gold in mountain C. What will happen to our people, Pak? They will not ask anything. Because they can see, oh, the urgency-nya, that's the urgency indication, Pak. Yeah, has successfully been developed. In management context, mountain A, B, and C is quick wins. So as leader, is a must for us to gain trust. Yeah, to gain trust by delivering something easy. So there are 2 dimensions of quick win. One, it doesn't have big impact to the whole organization yet, but easy to achieve. We need, for sure, Pak, to have those quick wins. So it depends on your organization, what will be the quick wins, gitu. Then when you are confident, you believe that the trust already developed, the confidence developed. Then lastly, you can move to last stage, which is drive your organization by system. You have some instrument, KPI, OKR, whatever you have there, yeah, the target, the objective. Then you can play with the management instrument systematically easier. That's my answer, Pak. Hopefully it helps. that will happen with that will have an impact both to millennials and to the old generation, Pak, because the urgency can drive their behavior. Yeah, gitu. Thank you, Pak. Okay, shall we?
Okay, any other question?
Oh, okay, sure.
Atau mau sambung, Pak?
Sambung ya. Nah, okay.
Bisa.
Lastly, mungkin this is the last part of
Yep.
my sharing. Yeah, I said before that the cure for digital disruption is doing digital transformation. Is there any proof? Yes, there is. This is a research, a very a strong and valid research, yeah, conducted by Professor Westerman, yeah, from MIT in collaboration with Google, I think, with some other companies as well, applied or conducted to almost 200 worldwide big companies that have the revenue above 500 million US dollars, right? Who do and do not, or did not do the digital transformation? What will be the impact? Measured or indicated by two things as the impact. The left hand side one here is revenue growth. The right hand one side is the profit growth. And they apply two dimension. So to make it simple, actually this is my consultant. Yeah. Before I moved to government, because in the industry, I have budget, right? So I can hire big names here. McKinsey, Ethiker. This is all the consultant helped me when I was the digital transformation leader, yeah. But when I moved to government, the budget is limited, yeah. So I did it myself, right? Anyway, so according to this big name, these big consultant companies, they said that if you're talking about digital transformation, it has multi-aspect, multi-dimensional program. But to make it simple, Professor Westerman only categorized by using two dimensions, DC and DL. So basically, there are two things you have to do if you want to shift your best practice to next practice as part of your digital transformation. One is DC, two is DL. DC stands for digital capability. DL stands for digital leadership, red and blue. The red is the technology aspect, the channel, the technology, the platform, anything, the products, right? DL is the human resource aspect, more specifically, digital leadership, how to lead business in digital era. So by applying those two dimensions, we have this report. See here, yeah, here is the result, yeah, the growth for revenue and for EBITDA or for profit, yeah. Maybe this one easier, yeah. So another one of the way to look to understand to read this report result here is by making the companies into three groups. There are three groups of the company actually who respond to digital disruption. The first group is the brown. The second group is the green. The third group of company is the red. Okay, the brown one showing or indicates the companies who chose not to respond at all, who chose not to do the digital transformation. So here, DC, we've got low, high, low, high. So we have 4 quadrants here, right? So the brown one here, they didn't transform digital capability, stay low. And also they didn't develop the people, digital leadership, so low. Low and low cannot. Both revenue and profit bleeding here, minus 4% and 24% minus. So the conclusion is, the summary is doing nothing in dealing with digital disruption is not an option. Clear? Okay. Category number 2, green. The green is the companies who chose to adopt, to do the digital transformation as the strategic response, but halfway, either up vertically or horizontally. Vertically means are the companies, are those CEOs who believe that it is enough for them to do digital transformation by upgrading technology only. Okay? What will happen? What will happen if you believe that the digital transformation is only about upgrading your technology? Before, you don't have AI, you don't have IoT, you don't have Wi-Fi, seamless, whatever, yeah, the latest technology. Be careful, you know. And interestingly, my experience with in the discussion with many CEOs there in Europe, many of them believe that, oh, I did already digital transformation. What's the proof? Yeah, I transform, I upgrade my technology. And then didn't talk at all about the people. So halfway, vertically. So what happened? Yes, for the time being, your revenue still grows up 6%. But you have a big problem with your profit. Can anyone explain why? Why? If you only upgrade technology, but you don't prepare, you don't develop your people, okay, your profit will be bleeding.
You're increasing too much on your capex.
Exactly. That's right. Your capex, our capex is disconnected with business initiative that result in performance, Pak. Because people don't understand. This is the challenge I have, Pak. Because I have to make the presentation to 7 BOD members, remember? In Telkomsel, Telkomsel is the biggest revenue contribution for Telkom Group. 70% of the revenue comes from Telkomsel, the cellular, yeah. And the company owned by 2 countries, by 2 telcos. The owner is Telkom Indonesia as the parent, and 35% owned by Singapore, Singtel, yeah? Singapore Telecom. So every week I had to make presentations, right? And when I told them to do the real digital transformation, some of them trust. I already did, Pak Pri. I upgraded already technology. Wow, it's not easy, Pak. Not easy. So I give them this number. Not enough, because if you tend to put capex only for your technology investment, dangerous, Pak. Your capex disconnected with the business initiative, minus, Pak. Okay, then we chose the other way around. We don't upgrade technology lah. It's too expensive. We come to Sarawak. I have good friend there who is very good expert in digital transformation named Dr. Hambrila. We learn from her. Yeah, we send our people there to be upgraded. So we only do the transformation halfway horizontally. We upgrade our people only, but we didn't invest in people. Cannot as well, Pak. The revenue minus 10%. Even though the profit still positive, but temporarily, semu, Pak, sementara waktu, because you don't invest. So digital transformation actually doing both things, DC and DL, the technology side and people side have to be developed. The promise, the proof, your company will still go 9% as far as the revenue and 26% in terms of profit. Now I would like to give you one big challenge. Please help me. Yeah. So here, this is the proof. Yeah. This is the evidence, strong evidence to say that digital transformation is the effective prescription, quote unquote. It's an effective strategic response, right, to deal with disruption. So if we believe with this data, I tend to believe, because Professor Wisterman, he wrote a book called Digital Something. It's a very well-known book. Many companies use that book as a reference. So simply, if we believe that this finding is valid, we don't ask anymore, but just go with the digital transformation as our strategic initiative to make our company will still be sustainable in digital era. But the reality is this one, Pak. I would like to make a report to all of you to share, Pak, because I've been doing this, digital transformation such a quite many years, yeah, since 2015. So I tend to observe and monitor the progress, yeah, particularly in Indonesia. How has the digital transformation been progressing in Indonesia? Here is the fact, Pak. Please answer. By 2019 November, Pak, the report made by this is one of the media, Pak, yeah, newspaper online. Many media reported this result as well. Only 26% of the Indonesian companies decided to conduct digital transformation. While the fact is this one. Normally, we can expect 100%, Pak, already started digital transformation because the promise, the proof saying that if you do the transformation seriously, professionally, then you can achieve the revenue growth by 90% and the profit 26%. Please answer why. Why? The other way to read this report, there are 74%. 74% is more than 50%. Qualitatively, we can say majority of the Indonesian company have not yet conducted digital transformation. Please answer. Why?
Doctor,
You
I'm
the infrastructure.
Kelvin here.
Please, Pak. Siapa?
Kelvin
Sorry.
sini.
Ya,
Okay,
Pak
Vin.
Kevin. Please go, Pak.
Yeah, I just wanted to share because this maybe the 26% that is very low. Okay, adaptation is not high in Indonesia. But I encountered one of the articles conducted in Indonesia in titles of digital mastery in Indonesia, the organization and individual contrast. There's a gap between the
Yeah.
how the leaders and also the individual levels, the contrast between to mastering the digital levels. So in they'll find out because this is a recent study published in 2020, yeah, last year, and they say that there's no study has been done and to identify the problem and the challenges faced
Yes.
by the company that undergo the digital transformations. Yeah, I think this is the biggest challenge. They can't see
Okay.
the gap. This is why the percentage on 26% still low in Indonesia.
Great explanation, Pak Elvin. Thanks so much. Yeah,
Thank you.
I agree with that. I agree with that report, research report. Yeah. Okay. Back to the number. 20% is too low. How come a program, a strategy that has been discussed, studied, researched, developed for such a long time, for many years, and give a proof that if you do it, will give you great performance projection, is not adopted, not done, too low. One of them is the answer explanation given by Pak Kelvin. I agree with that. But to sum up or to summarize, simply to answer this, why only 26%? Even less than 50%, right, Pak? I think we all agree there must be a challenge. Ya kan, Pak Kelvin? Please imagine you are in a position as a leader, Pak, as a CEO, just like myself lah. Yeah? Well, at the time, I was a leader both in industry and also in the government. I was in the government. I am the leader of a strategic program owned by Indonesian government called WIDT, Wonderful Indonesia Digital Transformation 4.0. Yeah, it's the program to transform the Indonesian tourism industry to become digital. So this number is a really big challenge. It's a really big thing, and to shortly answer why, it's really there is a challenge. So I would like to ask you again. Yeah, I believe that you believe that you agree with me. There is a challenge as leader, yeah, just like myself, to start digital transformation and to have support from people. And even Pak Kelvin said there is a gap, yeah, between the leader and the followers, right? So it's even bigger challenge for me. But again, I would like to think two answers. If I say there are two challenges. There are two challenges. Yeah, that can cause why digital transformation is not quickly adopted or is not quickly conducted. Option number one, the challenge number one, because of business challenge. Number two, because there is a leadership challenge. One by one. Business challenge is like this one. Here's the situation, right? Still the same graph, the same frame that I show you when I explain the strategic digital gap. So the vertical one is growth of the value you can replace by revenue, yeah, in your industry company situation, and the horizontal one is the time, yeah, is the time showing by the decline in price. Okay, so here is your legacy business. If it is being disrupted, will go down, right? Okay. So digital transformation, remember, is creating new thing, new portfolio, new business products, right? The expectation will replace the loss of revenue because of the disruption. But it does not happen automatically. It takes a while, yeah, before we can see the result. So there is a financial gap. So people under you will start to ask, Pak, betulkah digital transformation effective? Not been proven yet. Does the company profit increase with digital transformation? Not yet proven. Are they more cost efficient? Can they increase customer satisfaction? They would, but not happen yet. So that's what I call business challenge. You can choose why 26% happen, because there is business challenge. One option. But you can also answer it's not really business challenge, but there is also a challenge called digital challenge, leadership challenge. Okay, to explain digital challenge things, I like to refer with the old term called window of opportunity. Here is the S curve, yeah, made by two theories, right? Maybe this one easier to understand. The blue and the red, the yellow goes vertically means vertical X means profit, and horizontal is time. Yeah. So there was theory called PLC, product life cycle, or corporate life cycle. Yeah, showing that, telling that company or product just like people, just like human. We are born, become child. We go to school and we apply a job and we have a career and we achieve our best career, and one day we have to go for retirement, right? So this is the natural thing that will happen to any product and also product companies. Yeah, that's what we call PLC, the old theory. And there is a second theory called second curve theory. Yeah, telling us that before the things go down really because of disruption, because of naturally it goes down, then we have to be quick in deciding to develop new thing as the replacement. This is actually the digital transformation. So even though the old or legacy product goes down as far as the revenue, as far as the EBITDA or the net income, we have the replacement. Okay, by applying those theory, those two graphs, the blue and the yellow, we will have 2 points, point A and point B. What is point A and what is point B? The point A is the time, yeah, the time where giving a speech is very tough. Giving a speech is very hard. Point B is a time when you give a speech, it's so easy. Even you don't have to give a speech. You don't have to give a direction. Speech about what? Speech about the importance of doing digital transformation. Very, very, very hard to do in point A, and so easy in point B. Can anyone explain why is it so hard to start doing digital transformation initiative in point A? Anyone?
Yeah, doctor. Maybe
Sure.
I try. I'm thinking. Well, I think maybe they still kind of like they don't want to leave their comfort zone, meaning
Comfort
so
zone.
they're already very
Yes,
happy with that, and then why they need to take this type of risk, and yet
exactly.
they scared of taking this type of risk, maybe cause them
Exactly.
yeah, having
Exactly.
problem. Yeah.
Agree with you. Comfort zone, something big. Agree with you. We've been too long there, yeah, and we experience such a great benefit. We made great revenue, financial performance, and nothing going wrong. So it's comfort zone. Number one explanation. Agree with you. Any more explanation why? It's very hard for you as a leader to start digital transformation in point A. We got one already. Comfort zone. Anyone?
Doctor, I think the cost of to change is very high.
Yes, the risk, the cost, yeah, the implication, yeah. Dig more, Pak. Dig more about that, please. Explain more.
You see, to change the thing, of course, we have a training, one of thing, and then all the machineries, everything had to change because of the new demands in the outside market.
You agree? Yes. The risk is too big for today's environment. As we can see here, everything not proven yet, and we lead, and we have to pay that consequences, right? If it's not working well. Number two, okay, agree. Any more? Any more explanation why it's very hard in point A? Maybe I like to contribute because we are still very handsome. Still very handsome. Things go very well. See here, the blue one here. Does it go up or go down here? Yeah. Go up, right? Everything is just okay. Everything is just normal. We enjoy the growth. So when you start to speak doing something new that not yet proven, and for sure, to do a new thing called investment, will you straight away directly enjoy the result? No. It's the 1.1 investment subject understanding, right? If you do the investment, you will experience the loss first, right? So it will go down first. And then you start to talk and to give a speech doing something new will give you negative result, while the old legacy product still go up, nggak laku, Pak. Not popular. Number three. I still need one more, Pak. Explanation. Anyone? Anyone can add more, just one more explanation. Why it's very hard to start to give a direction to decide doing digital transformation in point A?
Yeah,
Anyone?
doctor, I think if you success, then you'll be enjoy it. If you are not success, I think people will put all the blame to you. That I think maybe the leadership will not dare to take this type of risk.
Exactly. It even worse if your initiative with the yellow curve is not put in your KPI. In many cases, digital transformation is not put there, Pak. So people tend to behave as they are assessed, as they are evaluated. If you follow the singing competition, for example, jazz competition, what kind of song will you sing, Pak? Of course, jazz, not rock, not dangdut kalau di Indonesia. Oh, salah kamar, Pak. Dangdut di sebelah sana kan begitu. You have to be jazz. So professional leaders will behave in accordance to how they are evaluated. And what evaluated our performance is KPI. Unfortunately, many cases, digital transformation initiative are not put in the KPI. Therefore, things. Okay, I will continue. Just one last step here before I finish. So point A, hard as there is. Oh, there is five. There is another. There is the fifth. There is a fifth explanation. We would likely to deal with demo, Pak. Protest coming from your union, Pak. Because Pak Pri will make something new. What about us? We are all people. So you will leave us behind, yeah? You will fire us, Pak. Wah, ramai Pak itu Pak. Wah, that's why you need communication ya. So many reasons, many explanation explaining why point A is hard time for you to start digital transformation. Okay, point B is so easy. You don't have to give a speech. In point B, everyone will come to you. Oh, come on, Pak Pri. Come on, Pak Kim, Pak Mazlan. Let's do the digital transformation. We are in trouble. Oh, gitu ya. You don't have to give a speech. Everyone will follow and support you. My question to you, as leader, please imagine that you are a CEO of Petronas, of TM, of Telkom Indonesia, of whatever big companies, you name it, as incumbent, who have been experiencing this digital disruption. Your legacy product start to decline. Okay. So back to the explanation. Point A hard, point B is easy. As leader, which point of time would you choose to start digital transformation? Point A or point B? Can anyone give an answer to me? A, full of risk, hard. Even you will be gone from that company, Pak. You'll be fired, maybe. Which one, Pak? Anyone would like to? Point A or point B? Pak Mazlan, mau di point mana? Point A or B, Pak?
Yeah, A.
A ya,
Start
Pak.
A, yeah.
Even though it's hard, Pak.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
To change is not easy, but we have to do something before people take over the organization.
Exactly, Pak. To make it clearer, Pak, actually point B doesn't exist. Why there is there? Because Pak Pri draw it by PowerPoint. Point B does not exist in the company. If there is no one, if there is no leader has an initiative to start in digital transformation instead in point A, let's erase Pak, point A. So the yellow curve will be gone. Will we have point B? No. So there is no other option. Point A. So this concept looks so complicated, but it's so simple because this knowledge belong to a simple man. Name petani itu apa bahasa Inggrisnya di Malaysianya? Farmer apa? Yang menanam padi itu di Malaysia sama petani ya? Petani, right? Yeah, this knowledge belong to Pak Petani, Pak. The farmer ya yang menanam padi. If you ask him, please Pak Petani, explain this knowledge that given by Pak Priyantono in a simple term, and the Petani will say, oh easy. Pak Mazlan, Pak Kim, Pak Elvin, easy. According to me, this knowledge can be simply explained by saying, if you don't menanam Pak, plan menanam itu apa bahasa Inggrisnya? Menanam padi. If you don't make any menanam padi, kapankah pula kita akan bisa memanen? Kita tidak akan punya harapan untuk memanen begitu. So because the Pak Petani understand this knowledge, they come to point A. Borrowing money, Pak. Why he dares to borrow money? Because only by putting, itu padi, then he can expect to have point B. So there is no other option. Now the problem is why is so little, so small number, 20% tadi. Leaders don't take initiative in point A. That's what I call leadership challenge. So which one you choose, Pak? To explain this? Is it because more to business challenge or leadership challenge, Pak? I think leadership challenge, Pak. Because if there is no one
Leadership
initiative, Pak. Then the company will lose its corporate entrepreneurship, ya. Padahal in our situation now there is a magic, Pak. There's magic that maybe people don't understand. Even though you look like still you go the downhill like here, you invest and you lose, but your value like this. Can you explain why? This is organic revenue. This is the EBITDA revenue. This is the value. you can see that many digital companies are suffering as far as their organic, but the value very high. So they do the IPO, and by doing the IPO, they get fresh money, and they can buy organic revenue. That's the new thing in the economy, Pak. That not so many people understand. So I think this is the conclusion. I think this is the takeaway for you to think about, yeah, there in Malaysia. I think it happens in every situation in many countries. We have to manage situation in point A, and the way we manage to the challenge in point A is by developing digital leadership. And simply, I made a lot of research here with my colleagues in university, and also I paid consultant when I was in when I was in Telkomsel to learn to study about digital leadership. In a simple terms, the way you manage point A challenge is by developing your company, your employees, your leaders, your professional, your managers, digital leadership. And digital leadership is simply a leadership that you need to develop to manage your business in digital era. That has 3 dimensions. First dimension is an ability of a leader, of a professional to manage today business. Number 2 is ability to manage to develop tomorrow portfolio or tomorrow business. And the third dimension is an ability to manage the future. The today is your current performance. You still live with your earning today. So you have to be excellent in managing this. So you don't throw away your old knowledge about quality assurance, about balance scorecard, about whatever Dr. Hamdulillah teaches in university. You still need it because you have to live earning from your today business. So today ability to manage today's or legacy business still needed, because it's this your core business. You live from today's legacy. And tomorrow is how to assure that your today's or your legacy business still grows up. I have a principles here because I led 4 head of division in area. So the principles is whoever is the leader in the area, who put the target for next year, for example 2022, below the market growth and below the competitors' growth, intentionally that leader put the target for next year below the market growth and below the competitors' growth, I think that leader have to resign. Because that leader plans failure, plans kekalahan, Pak. Merencanakan kekalahan. It's simple mathematics, Pak. If your market growth 10%, your competitors growth grows by 7%, and you put the target 5%, you extrapolate for 3-5 years from now, your business will shrinkage. So you don't deserve to become leader there. You have to resign. You have to resign. That's the leadership for tomorrow business. Number 3, dimension number 3 is how you can prepare the future is by doing digital transformation, starting to create future business, future portfolio that make your organization future ready, stay relevant in the future. And the principle is, what is the basic, the very fundamental great leadership is by saying the first thing that a new leader must have in their mind on his first day in his new job is the last thing that he will leave. Yeah, he will create as the legacy for his organization. Bahasa Indonesianya, hal pertama yang harus dipikirkan oleh seorang pemimpin di hari pertamanya adalah hal terakhir kelak yang kau akan tinggalkan if you are not longer there. That's the real and the true leadership. You have to have legacy. You have to have something you can leave for your next generation. And the best legacy is really to create great leaders, better leaders than you. But also, not only that, also the future of the company in the form of the initiative you made today. Closing, Pak. Closing, finish. The closing is this one. Yeah. The closing, three things, Pak, as the because we are running out of the time. The closing. One, to deal with digital transformation, you need to have an integrated digital transformation strategy involving both technology side and people development side. That's what I call integrated transformation strategy. Number two, you need to orchestrate to develop business agility. What is business agility? Is an ability of a company reflected by three-dimension ability: the today, tomorrow, and futures business development and management ability, yeah, to make your company stay relevant in the future. That's what I call business agility. Always ready with any possible changes happening in your industry. And to develop business agility, you really have to think seriously to develop digital leadership in all layers of organization. And number three is to execute those thought, yeah, in practice. Really, you need to have a mastery in leading and managing change management through collaborative leadership. Yeah, collaborative leadership. You have to endorse collaboration, because the future can only be prepared and planned if you have a good collaboration, as the Metatrend and Megatrend I explained before. And as the core of all that kind of thing, there are two mindsets, right? Fixed mindset and growth mindset. Fixed mindset is something, makes you hard to deal with the future because you tend to be pessimistic. Oh, it's too hard for us. Oh, we've been too long in this business. It's hard. It's very hard to do the new things. That's the fixed mindset. The growth mindset, oh, this is a new thing. Okay, but we can learn it. We can collaborate. We can ask someone. Yeah, we can be more positive that the future will be a brighter day. That's the growth mindset. But you cannot have it alone. You have to make sure that all people working for you in organization collectively have that kind of mindset. That's why I call it collective growth mindset. So integrated transformation digital transformation strategy. Number two, business agility orchestration. Number three is change management through collaborative and collective growth mindsets are three things that I will leave to you as the takeaways for you to think about if you happen to lead the digital transformation initiative. I think that's all. I would like to close my sharing. I will seek your, apologies if there's some word you don't think is appropriate for it because I'm too, bersemangat, yeah, to explain. And hopefully my great expectation, what I share here, will be beneficial and fruitful for you in your organization, for future career, for your study, for your individual development. Organizational changes, digital leadership transformation, Sunday, 12 December 2021, as part of the program in University Malaysia Sarawak. Terima kasih, and I will close by saying wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, and back to Brila. Thank you, Brila. Thank you, Bapak Ibu semua.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Thank you so much, Pak Pri. Seperti tak mau sudah rasanya. Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
For me and our DBA friends here, it is a really good one. I enjoy a lot of, I would say, food of thoughts. I enjoy a lot today. And thank you so much to our friends. Actually, my intention is making it exclusive to all DBA friends only, instead of making it as a mass lecture. But we also welcome our friends. If Pak Pri can see, we have quite a number of RMIT friends giving support.
Really?
Dr. Murzida from UTM Melaka. Dr. Hasniza from
Hello.
UM.
Hello.
And we have also Dr. Norfian from UTM. So thank you very much for joining us. Just for information, for those who are not familiar with Pak Pri, he's very humble one. We always love to learn from him. Actually, Pak Pri or Dr. Priyanto Rudito is one of the top 100 most influential global HR professional in 2016. So we are very fortunate, I would say, very lucky to have you today. Thank you so much, Pak Pri. The words is never enough for me to say thanks to you since last time, since our first meeting. And on behalf of Unimas, I would like to thank you so much. And I hope that this session today will be the beginning of our more and more collaboration, collaborative um, sessions, maybe academically and professionally, to be done in future. So
Amin. Allah.
anyone want to just say any words?
Any word tak ada, Doctor, but actually we want to ask question if ever we are given the
Uh,
opportunity. I don't know whether
Is it okay for us to maybe give 2-3 questions before wrap up?
Oh, boleh. Boleh. Sure,
Yeah,
please.
okay.
rugi kita kalau tidak ambil masa orang-orang yang pandai ni kan.
Betul.
Monggo, please.
Right. So a simple, I mean, very short question also, very short answer also is appreciate Pak Pri. All right. Okay. I just want to touch on two things. How do you approach this particular two things since that you are both in tourism and also telecommunication? All right. So telecommunication a bit lari daripada kita punya organizational behavior question, but the thing is, okay, when we have here in Malaysia, all right, so all this disruption, all this particular digital platform and everything, all right, and then we also know that tourism industry is actually a very big contributor towards our economy, but there is a ketirisan. The ketirisan is in such a way that, you know, there is a disruption from Alibaba, for example. A lot of our tourists coming to Malaysia is actually using this particular platform, and then the money they spend here in Malaysia, it's actually not within the Malaysia platform itself. So how do you see this ketirisan can be managed? Because if ever this thing is not managed, all the investors, especially from certain countries, big and what you call wealthy people from certain countries, they will just start buying some what you call buses here in Indonesia or Malaysia. They will start buying some what you call hotels. And then the worst part is they'll make sure that everything that been spent in that particular entities is actually using Alibaba platform, for example. That is one question. Another question, Pak Pri, is how you can share, you know, since that you are in the telecommunication industry, right? So the gap between the rural and the urban is actually getting bigger and bigger due to, you know, the urban has been has been connected, but the connectivity problem here in Malaysia, Indonesia, you're talking about geographically, you know, in order for us to have a line of sight to build towers, it will take a long time. So there will be a lot of gaps. There will be a bigger and wider gaps between the community in the urban and rural area due to waiting for this particular what you call infrastructure. As you know, line of sight here in Malaysia and Indonesia, I think it's the same. We have so many mountainous region, and then if ever that we want to invest on what we call satellite based services, it is very expensive. Plus we have all this what we call awan, you know, these challenges, Pak Pri. But it is something that we have to do. If this particular connectivity is not being addressed, so the gap will be widened. So how do you see, and then how do Indonesia really incorporate to approach these particular challenges?
Sure. Wah, luar biasa. Great question, Pak Awang, Habib. Thank you so much for the last question, for our session today. Hopefully, as Dr. Hamdulillah said, this is not the last time for us to have an opportunity to have a good discussion like we have today. Okay, first question. Okay, the Alibaba thing. There are 3 strategies that we can choose, called the 3 C's. First is to create, and strategy number 2 is to compete. Number 3 is to collaborate. So we have to calibrate The trees is chosen based on our calibration analysis. If we are strong enough, Pak, fight, Pak. So choose to compete. So you have to reflect the strength and the weakness, the capability, all of kind of thing related to that for us to compete. If we feel strong enough, we have all kind of thing that can beat the competition, choose to compete. That's one option. And you have the consequences. You need great investment because they are global player. But if we don't have yet such capabilities, then we can think about to create. To create means can mean big, small, or niche. That's what I mean by create. We have to look at specific segment maybe that we can control fully. That's what I mean by create. That our competitors, that such a global platform cannot capture. That's option number 2. Can also be done. And many tourism industries in many countries do it. Some do the, what do you call it? High quality tourism, for example. High quality tourism, yeah, can do it. Yeah, but if you cannot do it to compete, to compete or to create, there is the other option called to collaborate. To collaborate. How do we collaborate? We talk about business model. Business model. Yeah, that's what I do. I go to my minister went to China, and had a meeting with para petinggi di sana. Okay, I understand you need business. We also have business, so we made a good understanding. We put into business model, Pak. It works well. It works well. So that's my response, Pak. Quiz number 1. Yeah, it's your choice, Pak. To compete, to create, or to collaborate. Yeah, that's number 1. Sorry, number 2, Pak.
The number 2 is actually the what you call the digital gap. I know the connectivity gap.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes, having, and then
see Dr. Hamrila, how easy for me to forget. Just few seconds ago, Pak Abang asked that question, I forget already.
Aja Pak, simptomnya. Student saya dah biasa dengar. Saya short term memory juga.
Here is the answer, Pak Abang. So in digital economy, we also need to recognize and further understand the phenomenon called long tail, economy phenomenon, yeah, that the opportunities coming from digital economy will follow the long tail logic, yeah. While you have some main industries called the verticals, okay, but you also have long tail that will come from kampung, desa, rural, gitu, Pak. Nah, this is the challenge. Not so many, I think, companies so far will have already understood about this phenomenon. If you are talking about business, this been too long. We learned the segmentation, right? Dr. Habila remember the RMIT time, yeah? That my research, yeah? Talking about segmentation, yeah? Okay. The old way of doing the business tend to put or emphasis the opportunity coming from the vertical. Yeah, that's why we can see the infrastructure development mostly heavily made in big cities because the old vertical industries exist. Nah, so that's why we can see here the corporate customer, organization, enterprise itu, yeah, they give you a lot of money. But the question is, don't people living in rural give you good revenue? Good money? They do, but as long as we know how to approach them, and it is different approach. We are talking about vertical. we are talking about corporate customers, we are talking vertical approach. We are talking about account management based way of thinking. We give them the need they have. We understand their specific need. We put investment on them. Yeah, we build infrastructure because we believe that the return will come back to us quickly. Hey, come on. I have 280, no, now 50 million maybe people living in Indonesia. Are they not using internet? They are, Pak. Are they not using WhatsApp? A lot, Pak. But we are not yet able to reach them. So we need to apply different approach called digital approach or long tail approach. If you can reach with the right technology, oh, I forget to have another slide because the next slide will give us numbers for the world situation. Even revenue coming from long tail, Pak. I just got new data, Pak. Can you remember the organization who made the research? It's even bigger, Pak, than the vertical industry revenue. That's my answer, Pak. That's my answer. I think if the government, the big companies understand this, this logic, this new, reality, yeah, in our digital economy, there is no reason but to reach rural, Pak. The challenge is how to apply the right technology, the right business model, the right business approach. Itu saja, Pak. Barangkali that's all the response I can give, Pak. Thank you. Back, Amrila, time for us to pray. Already
Yes.
azan.
Thank you very much. Ya, tak terasa Pak Pri. Dah 2 jam setengah. Rasa macam sekejap
2
saja.
jam setengah? Masya
Iya.
Allah.
Nanti dulu tak bisa habis 2 cawan kopi tak habis kita.
Alhamdulillah. So thank everyone. Thank you for the
Thank you
attention
so
and the
much.
time. I'm glad to to have a discussion today ya. Sukses
Yes.
untuk semuanya.
Okay,
Thank you.
maybe guys, can we take picture for a while? Then maybe.
Wah, picture.
Yeah.
Okay. Put in
Okay,
our Facebook and Instagram.
Ini penting nih. Okay, siap. Semua pun boleh ambil gambar dekat your screenshot ya.
Dihitung ya. 1.
Ya. Masih tunggu ada lagi yang baru nak buka ya.
Open the kamera.
Okay, dah ya. Boleh tak? Okay, semua. Yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, Pak Pri.
Thanks so much everyone. Stay
Terima
All
healthy.
the
kasih
analogy, petani, the farmers, everything, it really make my Sunday happening.
Terima kasih semuanya. Sukses
Thank you,
semuanya.
Terima kasih.
Mohon maaf
Thank
lahir
you
batin.
so much, Dr. Priyanto.
Sama-sama. Terima kasih dokter. Thank you so much.
Dr.
Semoga
Uji.
ketemu ya.
Insya Allah. Semoga ketemu ya suatu saat ya.
InsyaAllah.
Mohon
Thank
maaf
you so
lahir batin
much.
kalau ada kata-kata kurang berkenan. Thank you ya.
Terima kasih, Pak.
Bye, take
Terima
care.
kasih. Mari pamit. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam. Terima kasih, Pak Pri.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I hope that everyone feel good enough with all. I don't think that we are going to continue after all the fruitful discussion just now. I think it is good enough for us to make a reflection on our own, or maybe if we can, I would say, I give maybe 2 hours so that later anytime lah you can jot down some of thoughts that you get from the sharing. Maybe it's good enough for your own for your own points and also for ourselves lah as a something that we can remember. And again, thank you so much. I hope that I still have one more session with industry speaker. I try my best to fix it with our friends from Petronas. That is my intention lah. So I hope that we can get his time for this. by that, thank you so much. I will update on any changes on this timetable later on. I will confirm with them. By that, thank you very much. Anything else you want to discuss or you want to ask me? So far no lah, semua dah penat dah. Okay, thank you and see you all again when I see you. Okay, Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Dr.
Salam.
Doctor.
Thank
Thank
you.
Terima kasih,
you.
Dokter.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Most welcome. Always a pleasure.